You are so in love. This is the relationship of your dreams. The narcissist even said it themselves that you're their soulmate. And yet it comes to this point and the narcissist doesn't care about losing you. And this is what they do to you. How could they? I'm going to explain to you in the video why the narcissist doesn't care about losing you. Hello and welcome back. I hope that you're all doing really well. So in today's video, I'm going to be looking at why the narcissist doesn't care about losing you. They just don't care. They don't give a losing you. And I know that this is really hard to stomach. I know that this is really hard to fathom, to put into words, to kind of really process this. But I want to talk about in this video why they simply just don't care. Because they don't have those feelings. They don't look at the relationship in the same way that you do, okay? So I'm going to expand this in the video. Narcissists are cruel. They are evil. And I know that saying that doesn't really justify the fact of what they have done, how they have made you feel, how this has impacted your life on so many levels. And in some way, you would love to repay the favor. You'd love to do this back to them. But the one question that remains is, did they ever care about you? And I'm going to say, on some level, maybe. On another level, no. And I know that's the hard-hitting truth. But what you have to understand is that the narcissist has an attachment disorder. And this is all about connection. Okay, so I'm going to explain it. A narcissist has attachment issues. They cannot attach to you in a healthy way, but they also can't detach from you in a healthy way. So they have no depth of connection. They don't understand what it's like to be in a healthy interpersonal relationship because they are not connected to themselves. All right, when someone isn't connected to themselves, all right, when they don't understand themselves, when they are unable to fathom their own emotions, be able to communicate that, be able to experience that, then how can they give that to you? How can they then reciprocate that to you? And this is another thing that I'm talking about. It's not empathy. This is about understanding and processing your own emotions. Our emotions, okay, are our internal compass. All right, and we are able to kind of understand how we are feeling in that moment, what's going on for us, and it also determines how we are able to process the information within our environment, but also internal information. And that then impacts the way that we respond to others, to the way that we respond for ourselves. So when a narcissist has a dysfunctional way of relating to themselves, this is going to bleed out into all areas of their life, all right? So this is why they are now able to communicate, connect, be able to attach, bond to you in a healthy way. This is why so many people, literally everyone who has been with a narcissist has trauma bonds. Because what happens in a trauma bond, you attach to the narcissist in a really unhealthy way. And it's only narcissistic relationships that this happens with. All right, no others, just this. And because what happens is that person has a taste of how the narcissist attaches onto others. So do narcissists have trauma bonds? They do, but they don't experience them the way that we do, because they're the ones that create them, but they don't actually feel them the same way that we do. I did a video all about this. I'll link this in the description box about narcissists and trauma bonds and how they feel them. I'm going to link it. So have a look, because this will really help you to understand why they don't care, why they are like this. And this all stems from their childhood, this intermittent reinforcement. So their parents would have rejected them and abandoned them emotionally, maybe even physically. And this has dire effects on a child. You know, for your caregiver, the person that you idolize. Because remember, the narcissistic parent would have made the child idolize them. And the child then doesn't know where they stand. They are very disorientated in their lives. Also, the part of their identity is linked to that. So when the child is getting rejected and abandoned over and over again, can you understand what this is doing to that child? The child then needs to be able to protect itself, which is why then they have these huge defense mechanisms and dysfunctional ego processes, because the ego is part of that defense mechanism. The ego is part of that identity. Actually, the narcissist kind of molds their ego into part of that identity. So they're not able to distinguish between. So when part of that identity is muddled and you don't know who you are, which is why they then mirror. They take on part of your identity and mirror you back to you because they don't have a stable sense of self. They don't know who they are. So when you ask the question, does the narcissist care about losing you? Well, they don't, because they know that they're going to be able to get somebody else, and they're going to be able to kind of, this life that they had with you, that they're going to be able to kind of mold themselves to somebody else, and they're going to be willing participants in this. They're going to be people who want to participate in this, because remember, the narcissist is going to mirror back to themselves. They're going to feel good. And this is what I'm talking about. This is what this dysfunctional ego does, this dysfunctional interpersonal relationships. It causes you to not know who you are. You kind of skate between reality and fantasy. They blend together. You don't know what's fantasy and what's reality, because your lies and the fantasy, like thing that you have created, the illusion that you have created, it all seems the same. Like, what's real, what's not. So the narcissist will believe their lies. And in their mind, they would have devalued you. They would have put you down so far because they need some sort of an excuse to be able to leave you, leave that life. Remember, they've created this in their mind. And move on to another person. Move on and do this with somebody else. And this is where the dysfunction is. Their perception of reality, their understanding of what is going on, and their emotions. When you're not attached, you just don't know. So this is where it all becomes blended into one big mess, okay? They will make up in their mind that it's okay to do what they're doing to you. Okay, they probably will cheat on you, so they'll make it feel like, they'll justify it in their head that it's okay, and they will make it feel like it's all right for them to behave like this. They will have no thought, no understanding that actually it's hurting you. Because when somebody does it to the narcissist, when, for example, the narcissist gets a dosage of their own behavior back to them, it's very rare, because remember, they're quite emotionally adapted to know when somebody is going to reject them. Remember, they're like hypersensitive with this. So because remember, as children, this would have been done to them all the time. So they become hyper aware and very sensitive to this. So if they feel like you're not giving them what they want, or they feel like maybe you're withdrawing or pulling away from them, this is when usually the silent treatment happens, or the discard, because you're not behaving in the same way that you would have been. And this confuses a narcissist, and this is why they then have to change things up. You know, so this is why they're always in this anxiety or this depression mode, because they can't be themselves. They're never themselves. They're kind of like, they mirror you. They're you, or they're whoever they hang around with at that time. This is why they can't be themselves. They can't relax and actually be authentically themselves, because they know that always this is going to happen. You know what, it's not, but in their mind, that's what they think. This is the way that they are thinking. They're thinking that when people see the real them, they are going to be rejected. And actually on some level that probably is true, because their behaviors are very dysfunctional and they hurt people. But they do this because they need to protect themselves. And this is where this dysfunctional ego comes into play. It's all about not really understanding or perceiving what's going on around them. This is what I mean about the reality and fantasy is not the same. It's dysfunctional, and they can't determine what is reality and what is fantasy. And this is the problematic kind of behavior that they display. These are the problems that they come across kind of all the time and time again, all the time, because they feel that what they're doing is right, and because they're trying to justify it, because their ego is their defense mechanism, they think that it's okay to behave in the way that they do, to let people down, to hurt them. So when you're looking at this thinking, like, do they care about losing you? Do you know what I will say? They will care because they have lost supply. It's not you, it's what you provide them. It's what you give them. That's what they feel or care about. It's not you per se as a person, but it's about what you have been providing. And remember, this is a transactional relationship. It's what you have given them or what you can supply them. It's why they have so many exes, because these exes can give that all to them. So do they care about losing you? They care about what supply you can give them. But you as a person, no, they don't. And that, my friends, is the reality of the situation. I'm really sorry that this has been quite a hard-hitting kind of video. I know it's not easy to kind of hear it and understand it. I really hope that this hasn't caused any discomfort for anyone, but if it does, please know that I do offer one-to-one consultations, and if you want to talk through it, please do contact me. All the details are in the description box below, or you can join the journal club to help you kind of work through this with a supportive community and a journal prompt every Monday. Please see the description box below. I'm also going to be launching my mentorship program. Again, please see the description box below. Guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.